Commissioners Court of Brazos County will be regular session on December the 17th, 10 a.m. Commissioners Courtroom, County Administration Building, 200 South Texas Avenue, Suite 106. First item on the agenda is invocation pledge of allegiance to the U.S. Texas flag and Commissioner Alton. Lead, please.
Father Almighty, we ask your blessings upon us once again today. We ask that this season, when those of us who acknowledge you and believe in you focus on what you have done for us. And our prayer is that you will bring that focus and that celebration of what you have done for us and how much you love us to a much more meaningful level. Father, we once again ask that you give us your insight, perspective, and wisdom as we make decisions on behalf of Brazos County. Also, we ask for, once again, your protection over those who protect us. All these things I ask in your almighty name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Second item on the agenda is call for citizens' input and our concerns, and we've got a couple. Jody Quimby.
Jody Quimby, 4686 River Garden Court, just across the barbed wire fence into the county. So, wanted to speak briefly about the East Loop business. Many people have come and expressed their opposition to that, and I'm in that team to oppose that. And the main reason to oppose that, it's real obvious. The I-14 project that'll come through here at some time in the future, to me, makes the East Loop project totally unnecessary. Aside from the fact of providing real big-time opportunities for developers along that road, that may be why some people are for the East Loop, but I'm not one of them. And like I say, logic just tells me it's just not necessary. So one interesting thing that came up in one of the meetings that I attended, one over at Bryan High recently, toward the end of the meeting, an engineer was talking about the study and all that, and then all of a sudden a guy raised his hand up at the front, and he was asking about a comment that the engineer made. And in the engineer's comments, he said, well, you know, the location may change. And of course, this guy that raised his hand said, well, if the location changes, are you going to want another $11 million? You know, and so that's my question to you. That's a hefty amount. I don't know what all is involved with that study. It's obviously a lot of work. But before getting input from the community, I think it would have been wise to find out how the whole community feels about this East Loop project before you even engage that engineer. I think that would have been wise. So I want to go on record to be opposed to it for those reasons, and I hope more people will come to this microphone and express that too. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have one more. Kathy Vance.
Good morning, Judge. I don't really have comments prepared, so I'm going to wing it a little bit. I didn't add for number 14 about Ashford Hills, but I don't know what that project is, and I was wondering when you get to that item number 14, you can discuss that a little bit and explain it to us. I don't know what a construction manager at risk is, so when you get there. I also wanted to, you know, in the past I've always thought of people who are opposed to big road projects like the East Loop as being NIMBYs, not in my backyard people, and of course they're going to speak up because it's in their backyard. But now it's not in my backyard. I'm not anywhere near any of that property, but it still affects me, even though it's not my property. It is part of the county, and I'm a resident in the county, and it does affect the community feel. And it's one of the things that attracts people. I mean, we've been sitting here in court for all this time, and we know that that's one of the features that the county uses to attract business. But at a certain point, progress in the form of populating the community and building bigger government and more construction and more public commercial activity is a negative. And I don't ever see anything like that discussed as far as the growth of the county goes. This is the end of the year. Some of us are celebrating and looking in reflection of our lives and at the end of the year, and some others of us are grateful for the salvation this time of year reminds us of. And in that regard, I am very grateful to Steve Aldrich in particular, because he has been uniquely accessible and personally available to any questioners, whether they've been in his precinct or not, and I have been very grateful for that. He's been unique in that feature. And Nancy, you've been here forever. And I'm grateful for your work here in the court. But I would like to remind all of you that you are servants of the citizens of this county. And growth of the county and growth of government should not be your main focus. It should be the citizens you serve. You are public servants. So I'd just like you to reflect on that this season. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And that's the only two to speak on number 2. So we will consider and take action on agenda items 3 through 22. Number 3 is approval of the following reappointments to the Brazos County Groundwater Conservation District. Term of appointment will be January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2028.
Move approval A and B. And
Second.
I want to thank Jason and Stephen for their service. They've been excellent representatives.
Okay, motion and a second.
Yeah, I would like to echo that, because I think in particular what we're looking at with challenges of available water in our groundwater conservation district, not just Brazos County, I think these people have some insights and perspective that make them very qualified to be serving us in this regard.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 4 is approval of the following job descriptions.
A through B. Move approval, A through B.
Second.
Motion made to approve A and B. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 5 is approval of the following official public bonds.
Move approval A through D.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion.
Yeah, just, I guess this is part of the bonds, that there are
Yes.
others that are coming?
I'm not sure who's lacking right now. Do you want?
This is it. This is all
This
for
is
the
it?
new term.
Okay, there's no requirement for a bond for Commissioner Precinct 1?
This was last week.
He was on last week.
He was
We've
on last
already,
week. We did it? Okay.
We did it
approved
last
that
week.
2 weeks
I said
ago.
this.
Yeah.
My apologies.
We've been
I've slept. It's been a week.
we've been putting them on as they come in. I think
Gotcha.
you know.
Okay, so this is the end of the train. This is the caboose. Thank you.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carried.
I didn't want the new commissioner to be left out. Thank you.
6, request from Human Resources to write off outstanding account receivable in the amount of $923.82. This amount is believed to be uncollected.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 7 is acceptance of the statement of award for a state and local cybersecurity grant program. The total project is $74,546.40 with a $16,206 required match.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, and I think we have a couple want to speak. Kathy?
Okay, I know when this grant was first brought up, you assured us that it was just a grant application. Nothing was going to be decided. It was just going to see if we could get it. And the decision would be made when the grant was offered to us. So I guess this is the other end of the grant application process, is accepting the grant. We have talked to you about and provided evidence about CISA and what that cyber security outfit is like, that they got hacked last April themselves, and to open the floodgate to our internet access for the county to go through another federal system that is itself insecure seems at risk. And I never saw a conversation of what exactly this grant would require of us. I feel like that needed some kind of a discussion about that we could hear and participate in.
So, Kevin, do you want to?
Yeah, I can address that. That's fine. Kevin Joyner, I'm the Chief Information Security Officer for Brazos County. And what this grant does is the only requirements that CISA has upon the county is that we participate in 2 programs, a cyber hygiene scan and a web application scan. This is something we've been participating in since 2019. And what they do is we give them a set of IP addresses. They look at those from servers they have set up, and then they give us a report weekly. This is what we noticed. Hey, there's this new vulnerability. There's this new technology that's out there that could potentially attack this particular component that's available to you. And we get that, we review those, and we create a plan to fix that. There are no equipment that CISA requires us to have in our system. Within the county network, there's not a box that CISA puts in to manage. And then there's some requirements at the state level. But regarding CISA, that's the only thing that's required, is you have to receive those 2 services, which we've been doing since 2019, because it's a service that is paid for by you, the taxpayers, and we can therefore use it for free.
So if I understand correctly, it's an internet communication that we provide that goes to the federal government through this CISA, it's a CISA program.
Other direction. The federal government scans our network.
So they come into our network and access our network.
They look at the external part of our network. They just look at they're looking at everything that you could look at in your house.
Okay, but they're looking at the flow to see if there's something of concern, correct?
They're looking at the technology bundle that we have in place, and they're seeing, okay, you have this particular device out there. Hey, this device has a known vulnerability. You might want to go fix that. That's what it does. You, at your house, could do the exact same thing. And anybody has the ability to do that. They're just giving us a nice report at the end that tells us exactly what's on it.
What's our vulnerability to the fact that they themselves were hacked?
There is none. We have no vulnerability that, yes, I'm aware of the hack that hit them.
Yeah.
And there is no vulnerability the county has, because, as I've said, we're getting a resource from them that anybody could do. China is doing it to our county all the time. Russia's doing it to our county all the time. Iran's doing it to our county all the time. They're trying to find ways to get in. These state agencies all do this. Anybody can do it. We're just providing a service from CISA to give us the ability to review, and it's a partnership. So they say, hey, we find these things. We think you should go fix them. They don't tell us how to fix them. They don't tell us if we should. They don't give us priorities. They just give us a report. And so we can do that. There is no hook, if you will, for CISA to get into anything that's in Brazos County's network.
Okay, so we've had a contract with CISA since 2019?
Correct.
And what does this grant do that we haven't had already?
This grant gives us access to resources for us to improve a backup solution.
And what do we have to do extra that the grant?
Nothing.
Just pay?
Yep. Basically, we have to agree to buy it, And then we basically give them reports to say, we spent the money in the way that you said that we would spend it, in this case, buying the solution. And that solution is still in place.
So they're selling us in solutions?
No, we buy it from somebody else. And they're just going to give us some money after we buy it to offset the cost.
So who are we buying solutions from?
That's proprietary. I can't share that publicly. That would be a
Okay,
secure, yeah, it's a FOIA thing, yeah, so.
Thank you,
Any
Kevin.
questions?
Yeah, Kevin, yeah, there was a mention of, in one of the speakers that we had presentation, something called an Albert sensor.
Steve, can you speak up, please?
Speak into the mic.
An Albert sensor? Yes, that is a tool that is used, that it is provided. That would be an actual product that we could get. It's a computer that you would put inside the Brazos County's network that can be used to monitor traffic happening inside of our network.
So it'd be intra,
Yeah, it would look inside the network to monitor what's happening inside our firewall.
okay.
So if you want to look at it like it's a circle, we have a firewall that protects our network from the outside. The Albert sensor would go on the inside. We do not have an Albert sensor.
Okay. And is there any
We've
plan-
never.
Is there any
we-
plan to have one?
No, not
Been
right
part
now.
of this?
Yeah, we've put requests in the past as, hey, we might want to do this in the future. And we've got some contracts with other vendors that we feel meets our needs. So we do not have an Albert sensor in the county, and right now don't have plans either this fiscal year or next to get one.
Super. Well, I mean, it's crazy what you have to defend yourself from, but
Yes.
thank you for putting that credible defense up for us.
Yeah, perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin.
I don't believe we're taking the vote on this yet, but we have a motion and a second.
Yes,
correct?
that's correct.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 8 is approval of Chapter 312 Economic Development Agreement with Honeywell International, Inc.
Move approval.
Second?
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 9 is approval of contract with Rosenbaum Schoenvogel Investments LP for the purchase of real property in the amount of $2,230,000. And we can, I guess, go ahead and take a motion in a second, but I'm going to delay the vote on this one until we go into executive session after that, and then come back out to take action on it. But
Okay, I move to
Should we-
approve.
Should we leave the whole thing until after the executive session?
well, I think we can go ahead and take a motion in a second, but we'll just won't take action on it until we come back out of executive session.
Okay, I'm confused. We're going to take a motion in a second to approve it, but then in executive session.
We will have discussion in executive session, then we'll come back out and take action on number 9.
Okay, so why don't we just table it until
Yes, why don't
after
let's do
it. We can do
executive
that.
session?
Just table it.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, that makes more sense to me, that if we're going to talk about it in the
Well,
executive session.
we had someone that wanted to talk on it, and I wasn't sure whether they would be here
Ah.
afterwards, so I was trying to give them the opportunity to come up
Okay.
and speak.
Can they
that
still
makes
not
sense.
speak if
So-
we table it?
Huh?
If we table it, then there's no opportunity at that time.
So when we come out of executive session and we make the motion, then someone can speak then.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't know whether you were going to be here after, I don't know how long it'll take. I was just trying to give you the opportunity to come up and speak. You'd asked to speak on number 9. I'm trying to give you that opportunity.
Is that now or after y'all come out?
After we come out. Yeah, because
is-
we're going to table.
Motion to table that needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I made a motion to table.
Second?
Okay, motion and seconded to table it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Okay, we'll have to wait till afterwards. Number 10 is approval of amendment for contract 21-048 elevator maintenance with Cone, Inc. to increase pricing and exercise renewal of the additional year.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 11 is approval of contract 25-081 scanner maintenance with Cummings Allison Corp.
Move approval.
Second?
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 12 is approval of agreement 25-087 for housing services with Father Flanagan's Home for Juvenile.
Move approval. Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. And number 13 is approval of the following committee, RFQ CIP 25-529 architect for Ashford Hills Warehouse Office Suites.
Move approval. Second.
Motion made, seconded. Now, we've got a discussion on that one, and come on up, Jody.
Related to 13 and 14, really.
Okay.
I'm just not familiar with what Ashford Hills Warehouse and Office Suites is, or what it's going to be used for, where it is, and all that sort of thing. Can you share that with us before you vote?
Sure. So I'll get purchasing agent to come up and talk some on it, but Ashford Hills is a street off of Finfeather that we acquired property over there some time back. We have a need for warehouse space, some controlled environment. We've got a lot of, for instance, elections equipment. We need a place to go with that. We need places that are a place that we can actually shift a lot of the things that get stored around here. They need to be in a different location. So that was the reason to purchase it. This is this action is to actually look at and have a architect and construction manager at risk. That's what 13 and 14 are, is to do the due diligence to pick a architect and construction manager at risk.
You say it's on Finfeather?
It's off of Finfeather. Ashford Hills turns off of Finfeather.
Ashford Hills turns off Finfeather. Regarding the process of using a construction manager at risk, based on my experience, 40-something years in the construction business, I would ask you to seriously consider going back to competitive bidding. I realize there's pitfalls in that, but there's giant pitfalls in the construction manager at risk program from what I see and know about it. The construction manager at risk type handling of a project seems to make it easier for the owner, but in the end, you're going to spend more money on a project using that process. The difference in that and a competitive bid, the architect and engineer actually have to finish their plans before the project starts in order to get the job bid. And so you know what you're going to get rather than a moving target that you have with construction manager at risk. That's just the short explanation. There's many other things to consider. And like I say, there's issues with competitive bidding because of the way people don't carry through with what they're supposed to do. But that has to do with the management on the architect and engineer side, and possibly your project manager to be more knowledgeable of the project and requiring that contractor to fulfill their obligations rather than try to run down the road and read between the lines. So there's a lot of issues that come along, I realize, with competitive bidding, but if it's handled and managed properly from the owner's side, you can get a better value for what you're doing, and it makes the whole process more open to many more bidders in the field, rather than the limited number that can be considered as a project manager. You have to be a very big contractor to handle some of the jobs, that's for sure. So in short, I would ask you to look seriously again at competitive bidding and how that can work best for the county. I think that would be a better value for the county in the long run. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jody.
Thank you.
I don't know whether Charles may want to speak to it. We have certainly, as you know, have used the bids like you're talking about in the past. I mean, there's some positives about the construction manager at risk that we felt like we needed to be taking a look at. I mean, having both the architect and the construction company on that team, and then the construction they're the ones at risk. They guarantee us I guess we can differ, but
That's a subjective thing, risk.
yeah. But that's the whole idea, is that they bid that thing out, and that's where the lock-in is supposed to be, and they get it built within. And there's a lot goes on between the architect and the construction company. I mean, you know, there always seemed to be issues we'd run into when we had doing it the typical way. We ran into lots of problems, and so this one looked like it might be as good or maybe better. That's what our hope is, and so we felt like this is the direction we needed to go. Construction manager at risk. So,
Just let me speak, if you don't mind. I think the benefit is if you get a good bid from the people who are going to be your CMAR, you have a guaranteed maximum price. And I think a lot of times fixing a GMAX price on a particular item, I think that fits, and a lot of times quantifying after you're designed, what's your requirement, and that's the limitation of your requirement. But I understand your concerns about it. I mean, when I was on school board, we used design build, construction manager at risk, and also competitive seal bids. And there were certain projects that were better for things. The experiences you had varied, and same thing with the City College Station, and I think the same thing here. And the reason to go with I feel good about the reason we decided to go with the construction manager at risk on this particular project. Makes sense.
okay.
We have a motion and a second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 14 is approval of the following committee for RFQ CIP 25-562, construction manager at risk for Ashford Hills Warehouse and Office Suites.
Move approval A through E.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. And was that, I know you had both of those items down, but this one covered it. Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 15 is approval of final plat for South 6 Business Park, along with a request for variance pertaining to county regulations for construction of driveways, culverts, and county easements and right-of-way, section 4A1H, location of driveway facilities, 17 lots, 20.902 acres, Andrew Milliken Survey, A-39, Brazos County, Texas, sites located in Precinct 1.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 16 is approval of Treasurer's Report for September 2024, quarter ending September 30, 2024.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 17 is tax refund application for the following.
Move approval A through E.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 18 is budget amendments, FY 24-25 budget amendments 11.01 through 11.04.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 19 is personnel change of status.
Move approval.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. Number 20 is payment of claims. Approval of payment of claims 8206877 through 8207043 and 9203046 through 3105.
Move approval.
Second?
Motion made, seconded, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries. We will move down, we will skip number 21 and 22 and go to number 23, is an acknowledgement of 24-25 budget to actuals by fund as of December 11th, 2024, and acknowledgement of the 24-25 contingency budget to actuals by fund as of December 11th, 2024. And then number 24 is juvenile director's report, and Linda's not here today, so the juvenile in detention is 28. There's 22 males and 6 females, and there are 39 juveniles on electronic monitors. Number 25, Sheriff's report on inmate population.
Good
Sheriff.
morning, Judge, Commissioners. 740 in custody this morning, 620 men, 120 women, 32 on monitors.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff. Number 26 is announcement of interest items and possible future agenda topics.
Just want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and Happy Hanukkah and whatever holidays you may celebrate. We won't be here next week, but hope everyone will keep the reason for the season in mind.
And, you know, I have been sort of doing an update on what's happening at Southgate. I will say that I was not available to go over and check. I do note that the owner of the property eventually sent out a press release in terms of letting folks know that they did have water now. I think the construction or the renovation of the apartments is still going on. But it's unfortunate that, you know, this problem had been going on since before Thanksgiving, and it was just late last week before the owner even responded. And I was thanking which I admit, the staff that works there, thanking them for the work that they do, and that because of a number of nonprofits like Salvation Army and a couple of churches, several churches had been responsive to the needs of the folks, the residents there. They were talking about making donations to those organizations. They never addressed the issue of what do they do for the residents who were being displaced or whatever was happening with the residents that live there. But again, because it is a privately owned company, it is difficult for the city of College Station or the county or the city of Bryan or any governmental entity to be directly involved in what was happening over there. It was fully on the backs of the owners to address the issues and the problems that were created from the infrastructure that was failing over there that created the problem for those residents. And so the hope is that the folks won't have to go into the new year without water, without gas, that the renovations will be completed. Again, I don't have an exact update. That is on me because I did not get over there. I may talk to some folks who have been very diligent about going over, but again, it has been a deplorable conditions for those residents who live over there, and they really have no options in terms of, well, you know, if the conditions are not bad, I can just choose to move somewhere else. They don't have a lot of options because there are not a lot of options available in terms of affordable housing, and it goes back to not in my neighborhood. It is even difficult to create livable conditions, livable properties in certain neighborhoods because people don't want those properties in their neighborhood. So again, I would ask that you pray for those folks and that if you're involved in a local nonprofit, that anything you can do to help will be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you, Judy. The other thing, we have groundbreaking today for the medical examiner's office at 1:30. I was told that KBTX had it on the news and said at noon. It's not at noon, it's at 1:30, so don't show up at noon, you'll be there a little while. So we're going to move back up to number 21 and convene an executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.072 to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. And we will come back out and take action on number 9 afterwards. We need the attorneys, of course, Cheryl and commissioners. Who else do we need?
Patrick and Laura.
Oh, Patrick, yeah, Patrick and Lori. Purchasing. Okay. And the time is 10:34. we're coming out of executive session. It's 10:57, and there's an action to be taken on number 9, so I'll need a motion in a second.
I move that we remove the table and approve the contract with Rosenbaum Schoenwegel Investments.
Second.
Motion made, seconded. Now, Jody, you wanted to speak on number 9.
Judge, before Jody speaks, did you want to give a little background of what's?
Okay, yeah, so this property is, 911 dispatch has been in the current building since 1988, and they have pretty much run out of room, and so they need a relocation spot. And so, I mean, we looked at a new build, we've looked at a lot of different things. This property has come up for sale. It looks like it might work. We've got it under contract. That's what this is this morning. Put it under contract for 90 days to vet it all and see whether it will work. And you know, if there's any holes that we don't see right now, but it gives us 90 days to get that done. That's what this contract is, to purchase that tract of land.
Is it in downtown area or out of down?
It's the old Lester's building.
Oh,
At Lester, on 29th Street across from Lamar School.
okay.
Or it's on
on
Villa
Kent
Marie,
Street.
actually.
Villa
Yeah,
Bill-
yeah.
Villa
Yeah,
Maria,
Kent Street.
Villa Maria and Kent
Okay.
Street.
Well, that's what I was going to ask about. Thank you, Bruce. And I would like to add, I do want to appreciate all the commissioners serving and leading the county. I know we have a difference of opinion a lot of times, but I want to take the opportunity to appreciate your service. And Commissioner Berry and Commissioner Aldrich going off, especially thank you, and especially thanks,
Thank you.
Steve, for standing firm on the tax rate issue. That was, took a lot of courage
That's
to do that.
probably out of
Commissioner
number
Ford.
9's
Yeah.
discussion,
So
so.
very good, very good. Thank you for your service.
Okay, Jody,
And,
thank you.
Yeah, and one thing to bring up too is you've been in that location since 1988.
And it was not a new building then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't sign up beforehand, so Jody had signed up for number 9, and, yeah. Okay, and that's the only one, Jody signed up for number 9. Did you sign up for, no, I didn't. Where's Marcia? Look back through there. I didn't remember seeing you on number 9. If you were there, then. I think Kathy put them on separate sheets. I didn't remember 2 and 7 was what I remembered, but. Okay, you did get one. I didn't remember.
There's so many entries we can't keep up with.
And I like you guys so much. So the information that you've given us about this facility was enlightening, and I appreciate you discussing it. I wish that there was more discussion on all these types of things, so when you introduce them and vote on them, people that come and haven't looked up the hyperlinks would be able to know what's going on. So now that I know it's for the 911 dispatch center, I would love to know how many people are there and what the number of employees, how in 1988, how many people did that facility house? Has it been expanded? How many are we expecting? Do they need to move? Is there so many people at that facility? And then where are they now, and what's that building going to be like? I fear that the county is buying a lot of property that is adding to that side of the ledger, and it's tax money being used for this stuff, so I'm just concerned about the spending side of it.
So that is a little bit out of, I'm not,
Well, okay,
it's
so
for the purchase of,
Right, you're buying a building for 911 dispatch because that department has gotten so large in number of personnel that you need to expand the facility.
yes. Yes.
And-
That's, I mean, 911 has been looking at, I'm not on the board right now, but 911 has been looking for the last 5 years about what to do about it. We've had lots of discussions over the years about how do we facilitate making sure that the community is safe because of 911 dispatch, because they have run out of room over there. And this is looks like, at least, a much more cost-effective way to handle a new 911 than certainly a new build or, you know, I don't think there's any question. We've looked at numbers and about what it would take to build a new building that would make that work, and this is a fraction.
Where are
of-
they now?
They're in the
Frontier building.
old Verizon Frontier building right
Oh.
there at the courthouse.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Did we actually vote yet on number 9? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None motion carries.
To adjourn.
I think that completes the, so the next item is to adjourn. Thank y'all.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yep.